Kiwi juice of 2 different clans. And we already it's already 1-0 to Killer Kiwi Juice as we go into this. So let's see what they will now make of Duat, the world's most defensive map.
The world's most defensive map?
Yes, and I am Quitch, and I'm here with Head of the Realm, and as we're discovering today, the world's most disorganised person, TheWrongCat. That was his prompt to say something. He's not going to. He's overawed. I understand. So, we see that Master is once again going with bots, and Kiwi, in fact, going with bots as well. Duat has traditionally been a very heavy air map. Now, Uber have tried to change it in the latest patch. We will see here that there is way less mechs over on this hill than there used to be. And indeed, they've added 2 additional slopes to it as well. And I'm pretty sure that at the bottom of those slopes, there only used to be 2 metal, whereas now there's 4. And if we pan round here, I'm pretty sure that some of this is added metal. That is this 6 metal here as they always used to be, but this is going to be a far more important part of the map, I think, now than it used to be. This part looks relatively unchanged. So this hill used to be the determining factor in all games of Duat, but no longer. I'm very excited to see how this one's going to play out.
I'm intrigued as to how this one's going to play out. I think there's a lot of potential avenues for both players here. So what have we got? Let's have a look. Killer Kiwi has gone bots and air to start off with, and then we can see a load of factories queued up, all of them vehicles. Meanwhile, our friend the Master actually has gone for exactly the same opening.
Well, we're seeing energy store from both sides as well. Far too many fabbers in this. Far too many fabbers for what they're doing. I think this is just people trying to figure out the new economy and what the best opening is. I think we saw Master, for example, build all this total energy after his first 2 factories, and really I think we're going to find people are going to need to get 3 energy plants probably between the first and second factories. Maybe it's going to be 2, but more than both of these players built. Sopcom players can be very excited though, because it does seem.
Oh,
have we lost Master? No, it's Killer Kiwi Juice we've lost. So we'll wait
Kiwi
for him to come back. But yes, we do seem to have got Reclaim become a big part of the PA game now. What with
but I actually like that a lot. I like that a lot. I think that adds a lot of depth to the game. I wish, and I hope that people get to sit and listen to this, that the wreckages were worth metal again. I really enjoy the fact that when you send a massive army to your opponent's base, and then it all dies, your opponent then suddenly has... Sorry, PA stats to talk. Yeah, your opponent suddenly has a massive metal advantage, which they can then bring to bear and send a counterforce against you. I thought it was a really good interplay that prevented snowballing very, very well.
Well, you tell PA stats that you're in a tournament and can't talk to it right now. And I agree that it can be an interesting dynamic. I don't know. I don't know whether there's one for this, because PA tends to happen on such a big scale with so many units. I feel that sometimes
you've got the area commands. It can deal with that.
Well, it's just a different way of playing. I mean, PA is very much a game of manoeuvring. You'll see in land maps especially, where it becomes less worrying about your composition and more worrying about where you've actually put your army in the first place, and then flanking, parrying, feinting. Oh, and this poor combat fabber is going to go down now as Kiwi comes in with a bot raid, which is surprisingly unprepared for, actually, considering the amount of air that Master has. I was surprised to see him just let Kiwi get away with that.
And that might be a metal extractor as well if he's unlucky. No, he's just about managed to count that in time.
And again, we see Master doing tree economy, but not having the production to support it. So he once again is going into the blue. It really needs to find the balance there, get more factories up.
Yeah, he's actually not. In fact, that fabricator that was killed earlier on by the raiding is actually probably what's contributed towards that. Because he lost the fabricator to raiding, which I think it was on queue to build a load of stuff, which is now dead. Sadly.
Well, we see the Master is returning the favour now, picking off a fabber over in the base of Kiwi. And if he plays his cards right, he might be able to pick up a second one.
That's a big if, though.
Mech's in the way, Mech's in the way.
No. Oh, so very close. The wiggling, wiggle.
He's not going to make it. Not going to make it. No, the dream is over. Yep. And we see a confrontation going over on the hill now. Both players still funneling through this route. I think this is playing almost out of inertia. I don't think that's going to be it's not going to be the big factor it normally is in these games. And indeed, we see Kiwi making a push out this way, starting to stake his claim. I suspect players should probably be making more of a push over here. I think that's going to prove to be one of the decisive parts of this map now. There's so much metal, it's got crevasses on either side. There's a lot. It should be quite easy to lock down with all that terrain. I think that's where this map's going to start being decided from now. But we should see, because this is a new patch with new possibilities and new layouts. But Kiwi tree economying better than Master, I think.
Good. I can see Kiwi has queued up a large area command here. In fact, no. So has in fact Mr. Master. They've queued more or less the same area command each here, trying to get all of these metal extractors. Except that Fabricator no longer has any possibility of building anything because he is Smithereens.
Well, I do. Yes, I see there's some very precise area commands going on here with take half the planet.
Exactly. It's actually quite interesting to watch in terms of how the commands are issued as well. I find the game.
When they're expanding out, yeah. I'm just very surprised by this turret. It feels like it's too far forward. It's guarding on mechs, so it's not necessary, and it'd be better back at the choke point, where it will stop things sneaking into his base. I'm really surprised by that placement. It feels off. Oh, this poor Fabber is going to last all about 5 seconds. That is a very optimistic air Fabber by Master, especially on Duat, which is you're going to see a lot of air.
It's all air. This is a very airy map.
Considering the amount of air that Master's built, I'm not sure why he didn't manage to find any fighters to put over there and guard that Fabber. You've got to expand with the land, and then you win with the air.
So far, it does seem, in all the games we've seen so far, Kiwi does seem to be the better expansionist than Master. Master does tend to play much more aggressively earlier on, but I think he does that at the expense of investing more in economy.
Well, we see over in the voting for this match, we see that the viewers have gone 50-50 again. So
you're so decisive, you lot.
I know. Too close to call, people. Too close to call. If we see you guys change your vote, though, as one player, begins to win, we'll know. We'll know, and you're not getting credit for that. We should have kept tabs actually on how often the viewers got it right. Unfortunately, we didn't this time.
Oh.
So, I think I've got a 100% prediction record so far. I don't
think that's true at all.
So there's interference coming through from me there, WrongCat. I didn't quite hear that.
Oh, what? Sorry. Who are you?
So we see. Well, actually, Kiwi's going for a strong. He's going for a stronger land game, and it looks like Master's just going to play for air and try and win that way. And it'll be interesting to see if that still works, because as we saw with Eladea and Miso, air is not what it once was.
Air can go horribly wrong.
Exactly, but Master appears to be ignoring that lesson, and he's still going to play. He's going to play what he knows. He's going to play mass air. I have to admit, I would not mind seeing something that tells me that we can do more on Duat than just play air. So come on, Kiwi! Come on, Kiwi! I want to see a land strategy win on this map.
No, air is. Just look at the layout. I mean, all the lanes it tries to force on you, and the distance, the vast distance between the two bases. There's no real way I can see anything but air being viable on this. Yeah,
it's so easy to lock down your base as well against land assaults, which is why air can be so viable. On the other hand, we see Kiwi sneaking some bots into the back of Master's base here. I think he's going to pick up a combat fab off the back of this. Which is really going to cost... oh no! He's not looking at what he's doing! If he picks up that combat fabber, that's going to hurt Master, because he's really down his tree economy right now.
There's a big if.
I know, this is painful. This is a beautiful raid. He could be picking up so much off the back of this, and he's not doing anything about it.
If it just
Master's not doing anything about it.
There we go! Yay! Finally.
Kiwi's pushing in here.
I should be celebrating that.
Well, Kiwi's pushing in with a sizable force of tanks now, and there's not really anything for Master to stop him. Master's going to have to bring his bombing force back. There's not enough bombers in there, I think, to stop those tanks. I don't feel he's not getting the wins with his air force that he needs.
He's managing to pick off a lot of expansions. He has denied Kiwi a lot of economy with those air raids, but whether it's been enough to justify the upfront expense of that air force in the first place remains to be seen.
But he's still behind though. He's still behind, even though he's stopping Kiwi from expanding. Kiwi's doing a better economy. He's got better efficiency going. He's maintaining his production, and I think he's just using his tree economy better. He really is. His that extra spending from the trees, he's putting it into production, and you see that Master early on is often floating when he's.
The commander's been forced to respond to this. The commander's having to stick himself out there, get the. That was an awful Uber cannon.
Yeah,
missed spectacularly.
I think he's expecting him to move in. Unfortunately, Kiwi not microing this force. There's a factory pickup waiting to happen there, and he's.
There it goes. Got it. He's got it. He's done it.
He could pick up that air factory. If he'd just paying more attention, swept round the side instead of going into the middle. Didn't quite.
Still a very good raid there, and actually he's done a sizable amount of damage to that commander, down 30% health as well.
It seems to me right now that Kiwi is holding this
controlling this
pretty convincingly.
So what you said earlier about the air, I'm actually going to take that back. I reckon you can pull this off with some land strats, because Master just doesn't seem to be reacting like he ought to be.
Yeah, it does. I think we might be just seeing the players. You've got to that part of the tournament where they've been playing for quite a while now. They've gone through a lot of games. Their reactions start to slow down a bit. This is where the endurance of players kicks in.
I feel a bit like that as well. I'm not going to lie.
It's been hard for you. You've had to sit in your comfy chair and drink your water.
I know.
It's been tough. Why does no one think of the casters?
It's grueling.
But we say, it's the thing. Neptunio's Air Force just isn't getting him wins like he needed to. And in actual fact, he's just lost it. He just lost his Air Force to Kiwi. So to be quite honest, what does he really have? Let's have a look at the army. He's got 1/3 of the army that Kiwi has. Kiwi's raiding in his base at will. He's just taken out Master's Air Force. I just don't see what Master has anymore. He's been.
Master does have the eco advantage now. He's expanding a lot.
He's going to have to really make that count as well, because right now he's incredibly vulnerable because there's nothing protecting those Fabras he's got around. If Kiwi is on the ball, he should be able to go out and pick those up. He just needs one bomber in his Air Force to go pick up some wins.
And now we're seeing it once more. Neptunio pushing his commander out of his base. Actually, there's enough forces there that commander could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Kiwi's not responding with his forces. They're just sitting there, and
they can't. There we go. They've seen the commander. He's seen the commander. He knows what's happening.
Yep. That Air Force is not going to help. I do not. Yeah, this is a bold commander move.
That's a very
courageous.
bold. I think a misplaced boldness as well. Yeah, that CSG is going to save him. I think. No, maybe not. They can fire over the top of it. Excellent news. Let's go.
Yeah, he's in real trouble. All of that overcannon, not quite as good as.
No, he's got enough to save him here, but still, he's taken a lot more damage again than he needed to. Down to 30% now.
Yeah, it's not looking good for him. He's going to get worn down. Kiwi not making his Air Force count as it should. Oh, you see on the other side of the planet some aggressive bot moves going on here from Kiwi. He's smashed through. There was a wall being set up there on the hill. He's just punched right through that, taking out.
And that's going to go and take out those factories and metal extractors and all of those fabricators as well.
Just waiting. As long as he keeps pushing.
As long as he keeps going through, because
otherwise that tower's going
to kill us. Oh, that tower's going to change this entirely.
No, if he micros his bots right, you run around the tower. A dual laser tower cannot keep up with bots. You run right up underneath.
But he's not microing them at all. They were stood there.
Oh, that was a mistake. It's a mistake. Yeah, his attention is obviously elsewhere. Missed a glorious opportunity to just take that entire hill.
To be honest, if I were him, I'd just be going whole hog for that commander who's sat there at 30% health. He can easily keep whittling him down with a couple of forces here, a couple of forces there.
Well, I think it was just all of Matisse though. If you get too focused on taking out the commander, you can lose yourself the game doing that. If you just
this is true.
And we've seen before, the Kiwi is a very cautious player. He doesn't rush in for the victories. He's just going to slowly wear Master down. But he's letting Master get back in the game here. Master now is only down by 1/3 of a force compared to Kiwi, and his economy is ahead. So Kiwi's going to need to keep the pressure up, because he seems to have really been letting Master just bring himself back into this.
I've not been that. I mean, having said the fact that I'm not that impressed with it, he's got himself through to the finals with it. But I've not always been all that impressed with how PA Master uses his commander. I feel he has been overly aggressive with him and has nearly cost himself a few games with it.
I think it's exciting to see the different approaches people take to their commanders now. With especially as there's no longer the reliance on the commander to do all your factory building. People are have that option now to use the commander on the front lines, and the way and why he's going away from his forces straight down towards his force of tanks.
Yeah.
Kiwi needs to wake up a bit though. It feels like Kiwi's being really slow.
Wakey, here comes the commander.
Yeah, but now the commander's walking
The
back.
commander needs to uber cannon pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's gonna.
It's just about managed to get rid of it.
They should really go for that next now. Pick up.
They really should. Oh no. It's just not. He's not focusing on anything. That's what it seems like. It seems like Kiwi is just sort of meandering about a bit, and he's given up that advantage that he had on the eco earlier, and he's.
Well, I think we're seeing now that these changes to the map have really led to a much more diverse play. Certainly, the action is spread about a lot more than it used to be. We'd see very focused armies on that hill, and it's really just about whoever claimed that and then punched through and won. This is looking very different now, and Neptune's going to have to get out of there because that force. Oh no, Kiwi, why are you splitting your tanks? Oh, he's splitting his tanks. I do not understand why he's doing that.
Why?
No, I don't understand what he's doing with his army. He's going to lose half of the army.
He's throwing more and more and more just into the blob.
No, don't. He's going to put his. No, don't commit your tanks now. It's. Oh, that's a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake by Kiwi there.
He's blindsided by he wants that commander. He's going for it wholeheartedly, despite the fact he's not making any favourable conversations out of this.
Yeah, if he'd just committed his entire force, he could have beaten back Master there, I think. But because he again committed half of it and then the other half, it's oh no, he's let the walls go up. That's terrible. He's still got an opportunity to win this if he can just get around the tanks, but I don't think he's going to manage it. Master's only on 8%, and it's not quite enough. Not quite enough to claim the win.
This is just infuriating to watch.
Yeah, that was
now we're in bomber snipe. Now we're in bomber snipe territory, but he's not got any bombers. So
no, yeah, that's the thing. He claimed the air earlier, but he had no bombers to take advantage.
He's not done anything with it.
Yeah, well now the air's been taken back by Master, who's used his massive factories to get himself straight back in there again. If a victory comes for Kiwi, it's definitely going to be on the ground, because wherever his ground forces are, that air force just can't go. And we're slowly seeing Kiwi putting down more and more missile turrets, making sure that there's less and less of the map that air force can wander across.
Yeah, he's done well with that. He's done well. He's seen the threat. He's reacted to it, and that's what you need to do. You need to be able to find out what your opponent is doing and counter it and stop them from doing it. And then eventually, they've committed so many resources to that particular strategy that you gain an economic advantage that way, because they've got a lot of useless units sat around.
Absolutely. Oh no, he's flying his air force very above his spinners. Now Kiwi's going to send his fighters in. Ooh, he's not going to come out well in that confrontation though. Probably not.
He's getting chased now though.
Yeah, he doesn't need to commit to air force there. It was unnecessary really. But Master has lost almost all of his bombers. We see that Master is starting to make a push over on this side though. Big tank push down the centre.
Master knows he needs to make some decisive plays, because if he keeps the game drawing on too long, eventually Kiwi's going to get some lucky shots off on his commander.
Well, Kiwi again pushing in now towards the commander. Still, he's been repairing. He's at 12% now. There's been some mild repairing happening.
It's a very, very expensive undertaking to repair your commander, though. That is resources that he can't then spend elsewhere on the field.
Yes, absolutely. But I think at 8%, it's just so
worth
easy
doing.
to get. Yeah, it's so easy to get picked off. But he's not that vulnerable to a snipe. I haven't seen any boom bots, and I think Kiwi really should probably have either. He could have swarmed the commander with docks, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
Docks got his base. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to hunt him down, or just boom bot him.
Boom bots would be, I think, a fantastic solution right now. All it takes is like 2, I think, boom bots, and that commander's toast.
Yeah, that commander will go down really quick to a boom bot snipe. Master's attack there didn't get very far at all. That Docks force just shut him right down, and I'm really surprised that Docks force is sitting in the base. We're about to see some tanks roll over these mines and get picked off.
Yay!
I don't think any of these tanks are going to make it through.
Bloody hell. No, that's not good. Mine's hurt, apparently.
Oh, is one going to get through?
No.
It does!
Oh,
it's
no.
almost the little tank that could.
No.
Good try, Bolo. Good try. But not this time. But
that was good use of mines there. That's a really good use of mines. Just stacking that choke point with them. There's 2 more that I think they're going to end up hitting mines as well as they come through.
I think we're just seeing, again, it looks really close, but it just feels the game Kiwi starting to slowly lock down the map in that cautious way that Kiwi does. it's just it's slowly denying Master access to areas of the map because Master is so Air Force heavy, and that Air Force. I mean, when was the last time it did anything? It just isn't a factor at this point.
It's just running over stingers and anti-air turrets everywhere. It's not able to do what it needs to do, which is exactly.
I suppose we could say that it is encouraged. It does mean that Kiwi's having to put a lot of stingers into his ground forces. So
Absolutely.
Master can potentially change that to his advantage to get some good trades on the ground because he doesn't have to put any stingers in his forces.
Ecos have now pulled about even as well. It's been very back and forth this game. Master is still very, very vulnerable. And as I said, he needs to try and end the game sooner rather than later because every minute that goes past, Kiwi has more and more chances to try and pick off that valuable snipe.
Well, on the other hand, Master's command is starting to look deeper in Master's territory despite having not moved. It's Kiwi, I feel, really should be putting more pressure on that commander, or at the very least scouting him out so that he can try and for the snipe. Again, he's got all those docks. I'm surprised you haven't seen them. He's using them against tanks instead, which feels like a really inappropriate use. He's rolling a tank force out the back of his base, using docks to fight off a tank's invasion. I feel those two forces should be swapped around.
Those mines are doing some fantastic work against these tanks.
But eventually he's going to run out of those mines though. There's more and more tanks rolling in that way, and Kiwi's not replenishing the mines. He's hiding the docks behind the hill, which is nice to see, so that the tanks can't use their range advantage. But still,
that is good. Oh no, they're not. No, they're running around the side of the hill because
no, Kiwi, put them back. What are you doing? Oh, he's going to lose them all. That's just painful. Kiwi's is not able to put attention to detail on his CV.
No, okay, we'll remove that if we ever see that on there.
Yeah, I'm afraid not, Kiwi. It's coming off now. It's starting to look like Master's turning this around now. He's.
You say that? I've just pinged you a little something.
The tier 2 advanced factory I see getting built, but
I'm being destroyed actually, as it happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's losing that ground. Master has transitioned into ground, and it feels like
that was a fantastically placed Uber cannon.
It feels like he's going to make that pay off though, just because he doesn't have to put stingers. And I think that Kiwi is being so damn cautious with his air. He needs to stop building stingers, bring those fighters out of his base because they're not quite sure what they're doing there, and go guard his ground units.
All Kiwi needs is about a dozen bombers.
Yes, I'm surprised he's made so little effort in taking out that commander, he's now getting repaired by combat fabbers up to 15% now. But Master is stalling his economy so hard. Both of these players are.
Yeah, I think to one extent, the fact that Kiwi's got the commander down so low is largely now responsible for how poor Master's economy is. He's having to invest all of that economy advantage he's got now, which is about 100. It's about 30 economy advantage, down to 20 now. But he's having to invest all of that into repairing his commander, so he's not making best use of it.
Well, we see now that Master's making another push into this back door that's looking weaker and weaker every time. The mines are gone, they haven't been replenished, and I think eventually Master's just going to have enough tanks that he's just going to do a lot of damage to there.
Where is Kiwi investing all of his eco? It must be this T2 factory.
I think if he get that T2 factory and get a few T2 economy buildings up, then he could really turn this around. But again, it doesn't look like he's going to hold it. Master's coming in with another tank force.
Kiwi has not anything to answer to it, really, has he?
He looks like he's just slowly losing his ground. He's done a really good job of wearing down Master, but he hasn't changed his ground composition. Master doesn't have the air advantage he has, but he's still throwing. Kiwi's still throwing stingers into all of his forces, and Master's not making that mistake. So he's going pure bolo, and it's giving him a huge advantage every time they fight.
I don't really see what Kiwi's got. I mean, apart from the constant stream of production, which is obviously going to save his skin on this occasion. But once this force tanks is gone, he's really got nothing to answer to defensive on this front at all.
Now in his base, it's just slowly getting whittled down. I mean, this force of tanks is going to die, but then there's going to be another force of tanks and another force of tanks, and it really seems that now he's lost his Kiwi's lost most of his major strongholds now in the centre. This was a really good point for him, and it's gone. Yeah, what's he got? But he's got a tier 2 thing. He's going to go tier 2 Fabber, and I think that's where his hopes and dreams are now invested in that tier 2 Fabber.
I think so.
It's going to have to pay off quick because he is at a massive factory disadvantage, and the mobile unit count is heavily favouring Master now.
Well, let's hope that he can make up for it in quality over quantity. Has he paused the factory? He's paused the factory. He's paused the T2 factory. That fabricator is not going to get completed.
Oh, why? It's 1% away from completion. Why would you pause there? I don't understand some of the
decisions. Is it paused or is that a bug?
No, it was paused. It started again. I don't understand some of the decisions Kiwi's made, but it's too late now. Kiwi's base is going to fall. He's not going to be able to hold this.
That's it. That's got to be the GG. I'm confused, he says.
And we're all confused, Kiwi. We're confused as to why you haven't won this game when Master had a commander on 8% health and you had a massive Dox force and control of the skies. We are all confused as to why you haven't won yet.
I think he's thrown it.
I think he has managed to. He's reached into the jaws of victory and he has pulled out defeat. So, congratulations to Kiwi.
He's not been defeated yet. He can still pull off something a bit cheeky.
We may see the patented burnt custard orbital factory go up, but I don't see it happening.
What is it that the custard is hoping to achieve with that, dare I ask?
I think ultimate victory.
Actually, you say that. Go look over Neptunio's base.
Oh, please, no. Oh, he has got orbital radar. He's got to that point where he's realised I've so completely won this game that it's only if an orbital snipe is going to beat me now. If you're losing and you see your opponent build an orbital radar, that's truly a sign about how hard you're losing, because that's why they're building it. On the other hand, Kiwi's getting his tier 2 eco up now, but unfortunately he hasn't been able to hold his main base. Without that, he just can't win. If only he could have held on, but I think that tier 2 factory was a mistake. Perhaps he thought it was the only way to win, but yeah, it's the end is coming.
The investment is not necessarily going to be. I think he had an eco advantage, and he was forcing Neptunio to use his eco to repair his commander, which should have given him an eco advantage. But he was throwing it all into that factory.
Well, unfortunately, a tier 2 metal extractor takes, I think, 2 minutes to pay off, and he's not going to get those 2 minutes. Master is closing in now with his Bolo force. The darkness is coming.
Oh, what was that?
Did he manage to snipe him? He managed to snipe him. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I missed it.
I missed it as well. I missed it as well because I was so convinced that Kiwi had lost.
It was bomber snipe.
That I didn't even bother keeping the pip on him. I'm so sorry, everybody.
You called it as well.
Oh my god, what a snipe. Eladair, are you watching? Are you watching, Eladair? Here's a bomber snipe. It can still be done.
Oh wow.
Well, apologies to Kiwi. That's all I can say. The man went for the desperate last snipe, and against all odds, managed to pull it off. I am absolutely gobsmacked. That
he reached into the jaws of victory, snatched defeat, and then properly put it the hell back.
Yeah, he decided I don't want this. Yeah, you keep your defeat. And yeah, so well, let's just take another look at that snipe. Where the hell did that come from? Because yeah, Jesus Christ, I know nothing about PA.
Apparently
so. I don't. Where the hell did that bomber even come from? He had no bomber. We had no bombers. He must have.
That's what was happening over here next to that T2 factory. All those air factories were pumping out bombers the whole time. That's why he paused the vehicle factory so that he could build lots and lots of bombers.
Yeah, I should have totally kept the pipper from that commander. I cannot believe he managed to get out enough bombers to pull off that
I can't
snipe.
believe that snipe is impossible. That's an impossible snipe. I don't know how he did it.
It's just because well, let's see.
I'm watching it over and over again, and I can't make head nor tail of it.
I think much like us, Master became overconfident, and he had nothing guarding his commander.
No.
He was building the orbital radar.
But hell, us, speak for yourself. I hadn't said he's already lost this. Don't drag me into your predictions, sir.
So we succeed as a team, WrongCat. We fail as a team. That's how the casting business works. I mean, yeah, it was the only other snipe. It was the only realistic snipe that Kiwi had, and he moved his air force out. What happened to his air force?
I don't understand how that happened. That shouldn't have happened.
He committed, and he died. He did try to go over there to see what was going on, but unfortunately lost his air force doing it, and that left the route clear. In actual fact, you see that he actually changes. He knows what's coming, and he has changed up to spinners. Yeah. He cancels all of his vehicle factories and changes to spinners. He knows what's coming, but it's too late. Oh, that
Wow.
was amazing turn
ending.
from Kiwi. So it is Master who snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And much to my disgust, a game on Duat was ended through air.
I feel like they're sort of playing hot potato with a gigantic ball of defeat.
Well,
They're just passing it backwards and forwards.
that takes us to a 2-0 so far to Killer Kiwi Juice.